So the Halo Infinite multiplayer beta has been live for about 5 days now, and I've spent quite a bit of time playing it, and I really enjoyed the gameplay. I think Halo is back, and I think that the way that it's being offered for free is a great way for people to dive in and try this game before deciding to either purchase the campaign or the battle pass. The question I really want to answer in this video is Halo Infinite worth playing? Is it worth your time to enjoy or invest some time in unlocking some of these customization options in Infinite? Is it worth your time? So I'm going to dive into all the features that it offers, and maybe you can make your own decision in the comments down below. So a quick insight into how Halo Infinite's gameplay is set up. I feel like the combat is very fluid, and in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of a mix between like Halo Reach and Halo 2. Again, it's very fast, it's very fluid. The equipment system is back that's very similar to Halo 3. So in Halo Reach and Halo 4, you had like Spartan abilities that you would choose and activate. And in Halo 5, you kind of had these Spartan augmentation abilities you could do, like thrusters and jumping and clambering and all that sort of stuff. A lot of the augmentation abilities are back, so you can sprint and clamber onto ledges and stuff, but you cannot ground pound. But the thrust from Halo 5 is back, but that's only as an equipment. The equipment that you find in matches in Halo Infinite are on the ground, or you can pick them up from an opponent or teammate who's died. They can drop the equipment, and they have limited use. So sometimes you'll pick up the grapple shot and only have 3 uses. And once you use it, that's it until you go pick up another one. Another example are power-ups like Overshield and Invis. They're on the map and you can pick them up, but they do not activate right away. You can kind of hold on to those abilities and use that at a later time. So maybe you pick up the Invis, you don't want to activate it until you go to try and steal an opponent's flag or something. But just keep in mind, if someone kills you, you drop that, and then maybe an opponent can pick up the Overshield and activate it for them. You can also give weapons, you can drop abilities and stuff, so I think that's really cool as well if you wanted to help out a teammate. There's also a smaller but yet more efficient weapon sandbox in Halo Infinite. I feel like 343 kind of went with the approach of less is more, so there's not as many weapons. For example, Halo 5 I think went completely overboard. There were 3 weapon sets for UNSC, for Covenant, and for the Prometheans. I've not really seen any Promethean weapons in Halo Infinite with the exception of the Sentinel Beam, if you want to count that. But a lot of the stuff that we see are a lot of classic weapons, the BR, the AR, and we've had some new weapons for, I guess, classic overhauls of weapons as well. So like there's a new shotgun, it's called the Bulldog, a new pistol called the Sidekick, and I feel like the DMR kind of got merged in a little bit with maybe the BR, and it's now kind of like the Commando. It's kind of hard to explain. It's a semi-automatic scoped weapon. I feel like that weapon leaves a lot to be desired. I actually find it quite difficult to get kills, and it's a little bit better if you kind of burst fire that weapon. But there are some new goodies as well, especially the Banished side. I love the Skewer. There's a lot of really great weapons that the Banished offers. So the weapon sandbox, again, there's less variety, but I think it's more efficient. And you can try out all of these weapons and see how you enjoy them in the Academy weapon drill. So you can try up against, you can also play bot matches in Halo Infinite to kind of get a feel for the weapons and the maps before you dive into multiplayer. Let's quickly touch on the gameplay of Halo Infinite. Like I said earlier, it's fast, but it's not too fast. I think it's very fluid and smooth. The time to kill seems very fair. It's not too quick, it's not too slow. When you're playing in the game, you're going to hear a lot of communication from both your Spartan's person AI, Spartans talking, as well as the announcer. And it seems like it could be a little bit like too many cooks in the kitchen calling out stuff, but it seems to really work. Like things like when you pick up a power weapon, your Spartan AI will say something like really funny or witty. Like maybe when a match starts or we get halfway to victory, that's when the announcer comes in. And if enemies are approaching from whatever side, that's when Spartans will kind of communicate with one another. They'll scream and say, enemies behind us, or there's a sniper or something. You can also point things out by pressing up on the D-pad, and that's kind of like a call out for your teammates to see. And I think that's really informative, and it seems like it really works, and I really enjoy that. The gameplay is also cross-platform, so if you have people that are on PC, other people that are on console, Series X, Xbox One, it doesn't really matter. Everyone can all play and join, and it works great. There's limited content in the game right now. There's only 10 maps, and the battle pass is very grindy, and almost all customization is locked out of the gate. So it's really not a whole lot of options for you to customize your Spartan as soon as you start. But I feel like they will, of course, add more content once this gets out of beta, once Infinite property launches, and there's new seasons in the battle pass. With playlists, if you want to play a dedicated particular game mode in Halo Infinite, you're going to be disappointed because there's only really 3 major playlists for Infinite. There's Quick Play, Big Team Battle, and Ranked, and all of them are a mix of Slayer and Objective game types. So there's no Team Slayer playlist just yet. There's no SWAT, there's no Team Snipers, there's no Infection. That's all coming, I guess, in the coming weeks and months. But this is really a limited launch of the multiplayer, so there's not a lot of dedicated stuff for you to experience these particular playlists. I'm a big Team Slayer fan, and so I'm a little disappointed that there's no dedicated Team Slayer playlist, but of course that will be coming. Graphics and performance of Halo Infinite, I'm pretty impressed, actually. It looks beautiful on the Series X. It runs at 120 frames per second. It seems like if you want to play on PC, you're going to need a beefy graphics card. I think the recommended specs say that you need a 2070 Super, so that's quite high to play Halo Infinite. Of course, the game does scale down if you have a lower GPU. I have a 1060, and I tried on my PC, and it was pretty much unplayable, even on low settings. I'm not sure if there's going to be further optimization once the game launches. I'm sure there will be. But for now, just keep that in mind. If you want to play on PC, you do need a pretty strong graphics card. And the game, of course, does scale down. So you can play on Xbox One if you want to. I've not tried it on Xbox One, but I'm assuming you would have a lower frame rate and, of course, a lower resolution compared if you were to play on newer consoles like the One X, the Series X, and the Series S. I feel like it has this classic art style that hits. It really seems like it's a true art style, I guess, sequel to something like Halo 2 Anniversary. If you play Halo 2 Anniversary, both the multiplayer and the campaign, I think that'll kind of give you a familiarity of what to expect in Halo Infinite. I also think it takes a little bit of callbacks from Halo 3 and even Halo Reach, and it really diverts from what 343 used to do in Halo 4 and Halo 5, and I think that's a welcome change. I really like this new art style. It feels much more Halo to me. Finally, the last thing I want to touch on is the Battle Pass. I did make a dedicated video for this, and I'll leave a link to that down below. But the long story short version of it is that there are free and premium versions of this Battle Pass. There are 100 tiers featuring over 100 items if you get the premium version. The premium version is $10. That never expires, by the way, even though the season only lasts until like May of 2022. And let's say you don't get all the content unlocked before then, you don't need to worry. You can still continue to unlock content after that battle pass, I guess, moves on to the next season. But the only downside, this is a pretty major downside as well, is the only way you can rank up in this battle pass is by completing challenges. And this can take a really long time. I've played for about 10 or 12 hours or so in the Infinite multiplayer, and I'm only tier rank 3. So it's going to take a really long time to rank up in this battle pass. They have already addressed this by introducing easier challenges, such as getting XP for just completing matches or winning matches. And it looks like they're also granting more XP per challenge as well. And I know that's, I guess, a short fix. They're going to be fixing more things with the progression as time goes on. But you do get a lot of cool stuff in this battle pass. You can see all of the premium stuff before you buy it, by the way, if you want to go and check it out in the game. There are extra premium items that are outside of the battle pass, like extra skins and armor sets, but the pricing is really off. I mean, there's a Warthog and Mongoose skin that costs more than the entire premium battle pass. So I don't think that really makes a whole lot of sense, where one thing for $10 gives you 100 unique items if you just invest your time into it, whereas you can just buy one skin for a vehicle, and that's $15. Doesn't really add up, and I'm not sure if they're going to change that pricing structure, but that's just something to keep in mind. So overall, if you were to ask me, is Halo Infinite worth playing right now while it's in beta, or is it worth waiting until it's properly released in December or sometime in 2022? Whatever the case is it worth playing right now? And I would say, yeah, it actually is worth playing right now. As a reminder, you can play Halo Infinite for free. You do not need to purchase anything to play Halo Infinite multiplayer. You do not need to have Xbox Live Gold or Game Pass. You don't need to have any subscription. There's absolutely no cost to download it on console or PC and just dive into the multiplayer and play it. There are some free unlocks in the free version of the Battle Pass as well, so you can get some new items and loot to customize your Spartan. So it's really no cost to experience what this game's all about. So if you're even remotely curious, I recommend you download it and spend a few hours playing it, and I think that you'll enjoy it. This is some of the most fun I've had playing Halo Online in quite a long time. I know Halo 5's multiplayer was well received. I wasn't really that much of a big fan, but I know a lot of players really did enjoy that. I feel like this seems to kind of bring Halo back into what it always was in the classic art style and art form and gameplay design. If you're, the question is it worth getting the Battle Pass? If you're a big Halo fan, yeah, I think it is worth you to get that Battle Pass. There's a lot of great stuff in that, and they're going to be fixing or improving the progression as time goes on. Of course, this game's only going to get better, and they're going to be adding more content as time goes on. So if you enjoy it now, you're going to be also enjoying it when they start adding more content. You'll just get a more overall enjoyable experience. I hope this answers some of the questions that you have with Halo Infinite. If not, post them down below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. And check out that dedicated video I made about kind of breaking down the Battle Pass for Halo Infinite and deciding whether or not if that's worth a purchase for Season 1. All right, that does it for me. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you, James.